We begin this hour with Democrats fighting back against President Trump on two fronts. The first is Trump's weaponization of the Justice Department. After the indictment of former FBI Director James Comey, Trump promised more political foes would be next. He's now expanding his revenge campaign to former FBI Director Christopher Wray, who he appointed. The president falsely and baselessly claimed on his social media that Wray lied about the January 6th riot and that he, quote, secretly placed agents instigated the violence. Congressman Robert Garcia, top Democrat on the House Oversight Committee, called Trump's retribution campaign pure corruption.
Donald Trump is the most corrupt person to ever be president of the United States, and he's using the DOJ in a way that no president ever has in the past. And so I think as a country, we've got to brace ourselves. We've got to call out the lies. We've got to push back aggressively and really be fearless in this moment, because he is going to come after all of us, and we've got to be prepared for that.
And on that other front, the clock is ticking to a government shutdown. There are now just 2 days left to get something done. President Trump is expected to meet with the top Republican and Democratic congressional leaders at the White House tomorrow, just days after the president abruptly canceled a planned meeting with Democrats at the urging of Republican leaders. In a joint statement confirming tomorrow's meeting, House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries and Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer said, "We are resolute in our determination to avoid a government shutdown and address the Republican health care crisis. Time is running out." Joining us now, Congressman Pete Aguilar of California, chairman of the House Democratic Caucus and a member of the House Appropriations Committee. Thank you for joining us so early this morning.
It's 9 o'clock.
Yeah, well, you're not in California, are you? Where are you?
Good to be with you, Jackie. and Eugene and Laura.
Give us your thoughts about this meeting between congressional leaders tomorrow and what you are hoping that Democrats get out of it.
Well, I think my response is finally. Finally, the president decided to meet with Democratic leadership in order to hopefully avert a crisis. Why a guy who claims he's the negotiator in chief and art of the deal doesn't want to be in the room with Democrats to talk about averting a government shutdown is beyond me. But House Democrats and Democrats in the Senate stand united in advocating for health care in our country. We know that Americans are navigating two crises in this country. It is the affordability crisis and it is health care crisis. What House Democrats have said is that Republicans have no credibility on this with their big ugly bill and what they have done to assault and attack health care. We have to address it, and we have to do everything we can in order to look out for the health and safety of the American public.
Congressman, is it enough for if they walk out of this meeting and decide we're going to sign whatever the House Republicans passed and everyone's going to go ahead with this clean CR until November and a separate deal dealing with health care? Or do you feel, does your caucus feel like those two things have to be linked, or can they be separated in two different deals?
No, they have to be linked. This has to be an ironclad deal that is spelled out in legislation. Just remember, in December, House Republicans walked away from a deal with Democrats just because Donald Trump and Elon Musk told them to. So they have no credibility, one, on the healthcare crisis, but they also do not have credibility with us when it comes to negotiating an actual deal because they have walked away time and time again from agreements that have been bipartisan. So this has to be an ironclad deal spelled out in legislation in order to get my vote.
So if the two aren't linked, then you won't vote for it, and you think many other Democrats won't?
That's correct. This has to be a deal that addresses the healthcare crisis that they have created in this country. Until we see a movement in that direction, there will be plenty of House Democrats who will not support Republican plans to reopen the government without addressing this self-inflicted crisis that they have created.
So just to be clear, linked meaning one bill, right? One bill that has both things in it.
one bill that has both things in it. That has to be part of the deal. Again, I mean, to Eugene's question, this isn't about trust me later. This isn't about pinky promises that Speaker Johnson makes with his colleagues all the time to offer them, select committees and other things along the way to get them to buy in to whatever half-baked plan they have for the day. If you're going to deal and work with House Democrats, it has to be a firm deal. We have to look out for the health and safety of the American public, and that means addressing the healthcare crisis in this country that they have sought to unwind.
Congressman, I want to get your reaction to one of your former colleagues, Tim Ryan, who said that he thinks Chuck Schumer is not the right messenger for the party in this moment. Can we play that?
Democrats got to get their stuff together. I mean, there's got to be a brand. There's got to be a reform movement within the Democratic Party. You can't have Schumer out there talking all the time as the face of the party. He's the embodiment of a party that's at 25% approval rating.
What's your response to that?
My response to that is House Democrats are led by Hakeem Jeffries, who I think is a great messenger, on this issue. We trust our Senate colleagues. They are our partners in this, and they have stood by us as we have advocated for solving this healthcare crisis. But Hakeem Jeffries is the leader of House Democrats, and I trust him when he's in the room having this conversation, advocating for the American people in the White House after President Trump canceled this meeting.
So, Congressman, it sounds like you think that Senator Schumer should maybe take a seat when it comes to messaging, that there are other party leaders that should be out there.
The Democratic Party has amazing messengers. We see them in the House and we see them in the Senate. All of our colleagues are willing and able to lead in this way. I understand that the public is focused on a singular
But is Chuck
messenger.
Schumer a good messenger for you guys in this moment? Yes or no, Congressman?
He is not my messenger in this moment. Hakeem Jeffries is my messenger in this moment.
You guys are one party, no? Lockstep, you said?
Absolutely. He's in the room. He's having these discussions. But, Eugene, what I'm telling you is every week we're in these meetings, we're in these discussions. House leadership team, Senator Schumer has joined us and brought Senate leadership over to the House. We have gone over there. We have had these conversations about what's in the best interest of the American public. And at that table with Amy Klobuchar and Cory Booker and ranking members of jurisdiction in the House and Senate, we have talked about the importance of health care. And it is clear in those meetings that we have many messengers talking about this issue in the House and in the Senate. So I understand folks are fixated on who is the messenger for Democrats. We don't have an opposition messenger alone. What we have is a collection of leaders in the House and Senate who are advocating for health care and driving down the costs that the American public faces and continues to face. And we have been very clear: cancel the cuts, lower the cost, fix health care. That is our message. I don't care who delivers it. That is the message.
Well, nowhere in any of those answers did you say that you think Chuck Schumer should be the messenger. But let's pivot. Attorney General Pam Bondi went on Fox News to talk about James Comey and a bunch of other investigations into Trump's perceived enemies. I want to play that sound and get your response on the other side.
Whether you're a former FBI director, whether you're a former head of an intel community, whether you are a current state or local elected official, whether you're a billionaire funding organizations to try to keep Donald Trump out of office, everything is on the table. We will investigate you and we will end the weaponization.
Congressman, we have heard from a bunch of Democrats this weekend and over the past few weeks about ways that Democrats are responding to this, what they're calling this lawfare. But it's a lot of the same, a lot of clear messaging, strongly worded letters. You were a member of the January 6th committee. That was a select committee that took specific, concrete action. What more can Democrats be doing here to combat this? I mean, could Democrats create, even in the minority, some sort of select committee to fight back against this unprecedented executive overreach and intertwining of the Justice Department and the White House?
Well, we have to speak to all of these issues. So, as I mentioned, previously, the healthcare crisis, the affordability crisis that Americans are facing, but we also have to be ready and willing to defend democracy. And so we have to do all of those things at once, Jackie, and that's the importance of this moment. But Pam Bondi demonstrates yet again in that clip how unqualified she is, the most unqualified attorney general that we have ever had. And this is just a revenge campaign from the administration to deflect from all of the chaos that they are creating and the corruption that they stand for, that they're willing to investigate their political opponents and even jail their political opponents, as they have indicated. So that's where we are as a country, and it's on us as Democratic leaders in the House and Senate to shine a light on that and to make sure that the American public knows exactly who Donald Trump and this unqualified administration are fighting for. They are fighting for themselves in the billionaire class. They are not fighting for you.
Congressman, on Friday, the Trump administration asked the Supreme Court to rule on its plan to end birthright citizenship. There was this other case, but that was tied to whether or not you could have nationwide injunctions. But now it's going directly at birthright citizenship. Do you trust that the Supreme Court is going to uphold what the Constitution seems to say, which is that birthright citizenship is a right of anyone that is born in this country, jurisdiction thereof?
This is plain text of the United States Constitution. It should not take them very long in order to debate and discuss and to rule this. But I understand it has to go through its process. But if you're asking if I trust the Supreme Court, the answer is no. This Supreme Court has carried the water for Donald Trump time and time again, and they are willing to bend the law. We'll just see if they want to bend the Constitution and reinterpret the Constitution to his will just because he asks. My hope is that the Supreme Court actually stands up for the Constitution, for the rule of law, and for the citizens of this country. But we will see as that progresses.
Congressman Pete Aguilar, it's going to be a busy week for y'all in leadership. Thank you so much for coming on.